Alright, so before we go over the Go Hub or like Galvantula's typing, here's what happened with Lunge. Lunge does 60 damage, 40, and it requires 45 energy. It's basically the same thing as Discharge, and it's an Icy Wind clone. And what it allows you to do is actually debuff your opponent's stage by one stage 100%. So like, yeah, it's basically like an Icy Wind clone. Now, the interesting thing about Lunge is that it basically allows you to cover a lot of it allows you to do a lot of things with Galvantula that you wouldn't be able to do with Bug Buzz. For example, if your opponent loses the lead, say you lead an Azu and they throw their flyer into you, you can lunge it before you switch out, or you can do some other things. Anyways, it's a really interesting and fun move that looks to be really useful for Season 4 Go Battle League. Alright, so here's Galvantula, and now it's super cute and adorable. It has a very unique typing because it's bug and electric. It's commonly known on Twitch and on other platforms as the Spooter. So, Spooter here is actually very interesting. So, Spooter evolves from Joltik. This thing is so cute. It evolves from Joltik, and it's a very good mon. It is extremely glassy. But because Volt Switch generates so much energy, the combination of Volt Switch and Discharge have always been very dangerous. You have Bug Buzz as well, which does a heavy amount of bug damage, and both moves get stat. In other words, Galvantula is an incredible glass cannon. Think of it like an electric type Haunter, somewhat of that sort. And it covers a lot of the meta. So Galvantula is its weaknesses, it has very interesting resistances. So electric will resist steel. So you beat steel. So steel and grass typings don't do very well against Galvantula. It also resists fighting and electric. Now the interesting thing is that Galvantula, it kind of resisted itself if you're running Volt Switch on Volt Switch. So just keep that in mind, that if you do get the mirror match, that depending on your stats, you may or may not be in trouble. So just keep that in mind. We'll take a look at that. I'll show you in a sec. So when we actually do the matrix, you'll see how it is. Obviously, it's weak to fire and it's also weak to rock, because rock types, I have no idea. I think it's neutral to ground, so ground is neutral to you. But other than that, you are weak to fire and rock. So just keep that in mind. So the SmackDown users run, and if you see AWAC, run. That's basically it. So as you see, as I mentioned before, it looks so cute. You evolve on Joltik from Joltik. Joltik is adorable. It's super cute. It's like a tick, and then it evolves into this giant 8-legged spider, which, depending on your outlook on bugs, may or may not be very affectionate, or you just want to literally take a can of gasoline and burn it on fire. Anyways, it's kind of expensive. 50k dust, 50 candy. If you didn't go after Joltiks a lot during the various events where they are available, it's not likely you'll find a Galvantula anytime soon, because it's not very popular for as far as like spawning goes. It hatches I believe it hatched in eggs at one point, but I don't know if it's ever been out. Other than eggs and, like I said, the events, it doesn't spawn regularly. So if you don't have one now, it might be a little difficult to get one. But you have a versatile moveset. You have Volt Switch, you have Energy Ball, Cross Poison, Bug Buzz, and Discharge. So it's very good. Volt Switch was buffed, so Volt Switch with 16 energy gain per shot. It's incredibly powerful and very good for this meta. And like I said, you have a lot of options here, so you can really decide on what you want. Spooter is not that expensive. As you see, you stop as far as the leveling core goes, it maxed out level 23, so it doesn't get very high leveled, but it still has very high stats for Great League. We're going to talk about Great League here. It does have some use in Ultra League, but I won't really explore that. I'll mostly look at Great League right now. So Great League Galvantula, like I said, level 23, not too much dust, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Galvantula's shiny is kind of like this black, dark bluish. It doesn't really look that much different. I mean, if you shiny Galvantula is sweet, but like I said, not much of a difference. But Galvantula in general, very glassy, very powerful, and like I said, kind of like an electric type Haunter. So Galvantula overall ranks at rank 37 on PvPoke. It's actually really best used as a lead. As you see for Galvantula in the lead, it ranks very high at number 11. Galvantula wins. Galvantula is an excellent core breaker. Azu, Skarm, Deoxys, Hypno, and Umbreon are all common leads, but so are the ones on the right. So if you do run into the Razor Leaf line and Bossiodons in the lead, you kind of want to get out of there. But a lot of the Galarian Stunfisk, Altaria, Marowak, Fire and Rock charge moves, Galvantula does not like them, and so they don't like SmackDown either. like I said, Galvantula is best used as a lead. I'm going to analyze Galvantula as far as just the Great League. Like I said, as you see, definitely doesn't rank very high in the other ones, and it makes sense because Galvantula as a switch, Galvantula with energy lead is really good, and you can by using Lunge, you can actually give it a little more bulk, or you can lock it into the debuff, which is very good to use for like regular debuff moves like Icy Wind or Bubble Beam. So that's the overall rankings. Again, rank 37 for Galvantula. Breaks the Azu Skarm core like a champion. Also beats DD, Hypno, Umbreon in the lead. That's why, well, overall, but as a lead, it's pretty much beats the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I put the Matrix right here. I have Volt Switch, Discharge, Lunge, which is the moveset we're looking at, and I'm going to compare it to every other thing. So this is to the lead in the 2 shields, and when you do the 2 shield, Discharge and Lunge actually beats Obama. So Obama Snow was actually unbeatable with Bug Buzz or any other variation till Lunge came along. So when Lunge, I'm assuming you just go straight Lunge, and because you do that super effective damage, yep, it's just straight Lunge. You straight Lunge, and the attack debuffs are enough to actually allow you to survive a Weather Ball at the end, which is pretty nuts. Oh, wait, whoops. And we're going to go to, you beat Azumarill with all variations because of Discharge. Discharge is such a core-breaking move. Again, 45 energy takes you 3 Discharge to get there, so it's not, I mean, Volt Switches. So it doesn't take too long to get to a Volt Switch, and it's very powerful. The new Discharge Lunge combination also allows you to beat Alt Cresselia, Deoxys Defense, Dugong, Dripling, Ferrothorn. You beat a lot of things with Lunge. With Volt Switch, Discharge, and Lunge. You beat a lot of things. I want to look at this Ferrothorn matchup, because how do you beat Ferrothorn? I'm assuming it's just because you spam more than it. Yeah, so you just straight Discharge, you straight Lunge against Ferrothorn, and you still live with like a hefty amount of HP, which is pretty nuts. So that's Ferrothorn right there. And let's see, you beat Haunter. Wow. You flip Haunter and you flip the Hypno. That's nuts. You beat the Haunter and the Hypno matchup? Why though? Oh, it's because of Lunge. Lunge is so good that you literally are able to survive. Yeah, that's big. Because, yep, you just Lunge and then you Volt Switch down. So you're going to lose both your shields, but at the same time, you wouldn't switch. And you're left with enough where you can probably get another, like, Volt Switch and you'll get another Lunge. So that's pretty crazy. You flip Haunter, you flip Hypno. That's nuts. This thing is so good. No one cares about, well, you want to flip out a Shadow match anyways, but so you'll lose against Shadow Champ in the 2 shield. So be careful of that, because Shadow Champ is kind of popular. It's had some popularity risen, so be careful of Shadow Champ. Lapras, Mantine. Lapras, you beat Lapras, you beat Mantine. Pretty general. Electric beats water. That's pretty standard. You even beat Medicham. You beat Medicham. You beat Meganium. You beat Melmetal? Wait, what? Oh, wait, how? Oh, do you bait? Oh, okay, so with the Melmetal matchup, here's what happens. You bait with Lunge, and then you end its life with Discharge. Yep, I guessed it right. You bait with Lunge, and your opponent, unless they actually call you, even if they don't call you, yeah, they have to shield because, well, you don't have to shield, but if you take 1 Discharge, it hurts a lot, so you don't want it to happen. Especially if you prompt them to superpower first. So just keep that in mind. Like, you beat Melmetal as long as you can bait with Lunge. So this is a bait-dependent matchup, but that's still pretty huge. You beat Pelipper, obviously. Pelipper is weak to electricity. It's double weak because of flying and water. You beat Alola Raichu. You beat Registeel. You lose against Sableye, but you beat Scrafty. You beat Shiftry. You beat Skarmory. Wait, what? You beat Swampert? Oh, wow. You beat Swampert? I'm guessing you bait both shields with Lunge. Yep, you bait both shields you just straight Lunge it to death. That's freaking nuts. And yeah, that's nuts. And they have to shield. Because Lunge that's not blocked actually you almost do half of its HP with 1 Lunge. It's nuts. You beat Toxicroak. You lose against Tropius, so if you see Tropius... You beat the Razor Leaf variant, though, so you could straight Lunge the Razor Leaf variant, which is nuts, because if you could recognize that, then you can stay in. You beat so many matchups. Lead? Yeah, you beat Vigor too. Yo, lead Galvantula is disgustingly powerful. So, yeah, it's really freaking good. What about a switch? So, in my opinion, best used as a lead. As a switch, you still beat Abomasnow. Obviously, you're gonna beat Azumarill regardless. Run from Altaria Bastiodon. You beat Crest in the ones. You beat Deoxys D in the ones. You just straight lunge it to death. You beat Dugong. You beat Drifloon. It flips so much of the meta. Galvantula is freaking strong, yo. You beat Medicham. You beat Meganium. You beat Melmetal. I'm guessing you just go straight. You could go straight discharge. I mean, you block the Rock Slide, but you could just go straight discharge from here. I'm assuming. Is that what happens? Hold on. Let's take a look. What do you get? Okay, so you have to lunge and then you discharge? Yeah, you lunge and then you discharge. So what if they don't call the bait from discharge? Or if you just go straight discharge in the one shield? Oh, you still win just straight discharge it? Wow, that's crazy. You still win straight discharge. That's nuts. Galvantula is busted. You beat Alolan you beat Registeel, you beat Sableye in the one... Wait, why do you beat Sableye in one shield? Nani? Oh, I think it's because of Bug... I think you lunge it to death. So with Sableye in the one shield, yeah, you lunge it. You'll lunge it to bait the shield and then you discharge it to death. Okay. Okay, got you. Because if I'm correct, well, can you just straight lunge it too? Okay, so you could literally just straight lunge it to death. You can lunge poor shift. You lunge spore. Sableye dies to lunge. You even beat Scrafty. No other variation of Galvantula actually beats Scrafty but the lunge version. And why? Is it because of the lunge? The dark typing actually works against you. And you lunge it to... Oh, wait. What? What if you just straight lunge it to death? Okay, yeah, you still win. All you do is just literally straight lunge. You lunge to death. You can lunge to death. You literally can just lunge it to death. It's nuts. Wow. You beat Skarmory, you beat Shiftry, so if Shiftry switches into you, Galvantula can come in and wreck its life. You beat Toxie, you beat Tropius, you beat Umbreon, Venusaur, Shadow. That is huge. Because everyone hates this thing. I hate it too. You want to know why? This is probably one of the most hated mons in all of the game right now. So all you could, so if you, so with the one shield, you can straight lunge it. All you need to beat Shadow Vic with Galvantula is you... Because normally you resist Volt Switch with... Because it's a grass type, but all you literally... You can straight lunge it to death. If they don't shield... Well... What if they don't shield the lunge? So assuming your opponent... Well, if your opponent... I'm pretty sure they lose the no shield. Why do you lose the zeros? Oh, so this is really... It's super bait dependent. Okay, got you. Well... if you're up a shield, you should win straight lunge. No, 0-1s. Yeah, if it's the 0-1s. Hold on, 0-1s. Why do you lose the 0-1s? Give me 1 second. I believe if you're up a... No, wait, that's incorrect. I just clicked on the wrong one. But if you're up a shield, I believe you destroy it. Yep, as long as you're up a shield. So all you have to do to beat Shadow Victory Bell is literally just use a shield. That's huge. So you can... Obviously, you lose to Bastiodon, but you're gonna get either one. If you don't get if you get Bastiodon switch, if you don't get Bastiodon, you're actually fine in Shadow Victory Bell, because you actually win this matchup really hard, which is nuts. You didn't beat Zweilous, so Galvantula with one shield is really good. Galvantula in general is just a monster. I'll probably have some Galvantula gameplay to like review it, but Galvantula with lunge seems to be really powerful. So, wow. Okay, so in the zeros though, there is some kind of... You don't want Galvantula without shields, but you still beat several matchups. You'll beat things like Cresselia, you'll beat Deoxys, you'll beat Drifblim, Ferrothorn, Haunter, you'll beat Shadow Hypno, you beat a lot of things. You even beat Shadow Machamp in the closer, which is nuts. So you'll beat Shadow Machamp as long as it doesn't have shields. Actually, you even win the ones. So as long as Shadow Machamp doesn't have... If Shadow Machamp has no shields, you'll win it just going straight discharge. Which is... Yeah, you win straight discharge. That Galvantula is amazing. Yeah. You still beat... Obviously, you're going to lose against Alolan Marowak. You beat Medicham. You beat Meganium. You beat Shiftry, Skarmory. It wins a lot of relevant matchups. You want to run away from Galarian Stunfisk. This Galarian Stunfisk is very popular. If you do get that, you want to kind of get out of here. You beat Toxie, Tropius, Umbreon, Venusaur. It beats a lot of things. Like, Galvantula is really, really good. Again, best used for Great League. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. So, let's see. Let's go. Let's see. I should do some gameplay, but to summarize, Galvantula is really, really freaking good. Alright, so in summary, Galvantula, you probably already have one built, so all you really have to do is team it to Lunge. Here's a little, like, sneak peek of, like, a training sim for Galvantula. It's already released, so you can team it already. However, like I said, Galvantula is squishy, so if you are going to use Galvantula, just be careful how you use it, okay? So we get the switch in here, and with Azu Galvantula, as we mentioned, it's a very good core. Now, I'm not going to shield the first move here. If this is a Mud Bomb, then okay, perfect. We called the bait. That's good. We kind of needed that. So, like I said, with Galvantula, best use as a lead. If you lose the lead, you can switch out, as we did here. Or not as we did here. We actually won the lead here. But if our opponent... You win the lead with Galvantula, there's a lot of play with it. You can lunge whatever comes in and then take it out. And you can basically allow whatever's in the back. There's a lot of play with these types of teams. We're going to shield this one because we're like, okay, it's a Mud Bomb. Okay, that's fine. But Galvantula, you can use... Lunge is very strong because, like with Icy Wind, if you win the lead, your opponent switches whatever Mon in, you can lunge it and then switch lock them in. That's a play you can do. So just be very careful and mindful about like what you go against, etc. We get Drifblim here. This is fine. Galvantula, as we saw in the Sims, actually beats Drifblim. That's why the opponent switched out right away. Now I'm not going to shield here. We'll eat it if it's a Shadow Bar or not. Our goal here is to just line up Drifblim with our Galvantula. And we beat it with either one. So since we switch in, we might as well get the switch clock. But like Galvantula is squishy. That's another issue. Because Galvantula is so squishy, you do need to play around. You do need to like try to take advantage of as much of Galvantula's HP as possible. We get a Skarmory. This is great. We have a very dominant matchup. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a discharge. Switch out. And now we pretty much won. By using Galarian Stunfisk as a closer, we're able to cover Galvantula's weakness as a flyer from flyers. Well, not really. It's not really weak to flyers, but like cover like I would say steel typings. But you don't. Not really. We're just we literally destroy these matchups so much that we don't really Yeah. If you have it's what it is. It's Skarmory. Skarmory dies to Galvantula, and Skarmory also dies to Galarian Stunfisk. This is just a really, like, we're so dominant here that it's just kind of, like, sad. But because we have two strong closers and switches with our Galvantula, we're vibing right now. We can, like, yeah, we're doing really well right now. But a lot of things really mesh well with Galvantula. I would say if you want to, like, the best thing you can do with Galvantula is to give it, like, Azu and Stunfisk in the back. These two have great coverage. Or you can use some sweet strategy taking advantage of Lunge. Either way, Galvantula plus Lunge is very powerful. Lunge allows you to take more damage, and Lunge also has a lot of coverage. Bug typing covers dark, it also covers grass, and the fact that it does do that little -1 attack allows you to get more bulk out of your Pokemon if they switch lock into you. For example, they switch in, like I said, whatever's weak to you, you lunge it, and then you switch out of Galvantula. It's a very good strategy. And Icy Wind / Bubble Beam / debuff moves have always been a fun thing. But the interesting thing is, coupled with Galvantula's attack, in summary, like here's another thing, like coupled with its attack, it can one-shot a lot of things. For example, we saw Galvantula versus Shiftry is very strong. Why? It's because if you take a look here, if you have Galvantula versus Shiftry, Lunge actually does 197 points of damage, which means you do about 150% of Shiftry's health, which is nuts. But again, in summary, like I said, practice. Remember, Galvantula is glassy. Galvantula and Azu are very powerful core together, and have fun with it. and I will see you guys on the next one. We'll do an analysis for the rest of the movesets, but Lunge seems to be the most important piece and probably the most you'll see for Go Battle League Season 4. If you've started Great League already, you probably see a lot of these running around. And you guys have a wonderful day and have fun with your Lunge Galvantula.